Your Excellency, sir, I now invite Mr. Ismail Maalim Madey, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Youth Affairs in the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Sports and the Arts, to take his oath of office.
I, Ismail Maalim Madey, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or content of any business, proceedings or documents of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as such Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Engineer Festus Kipkoech Ngeno.
Next year, Sir, I now invite Honorable Jonathan Mwangangi Mweke, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Sports and the Arts, to take his oath of office.
I, Jonathan Mwangangi Mweke, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as such Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Yes. Mr. Ephantus K. Kimani.
Festus Kipkoech Ngeno, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Environment, to take his oath of office.
I, Festus Kipkoech Ngeno, being called on to exercise the functions of the Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as such Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Mr. John Lekakeni Ololtua.
I, Fantas Kimotho Kimani, being called upon to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as the Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Ms. Sylvia Museya Kihoro.
Yeah. Sir, I now invite Mr. John Lekakeny Ololtua, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Tourism, in the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, to take his oath of office.
Directly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or document of Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Ms. Umi Mohammed Bashir.
Sir, I now invite Ms. Sylvia Museya Kihoro, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Wildlife in the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, to take her oath of office.
I, Sylvia Museya Kihoro, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly, so help me God.
Dr. Paul Kiprono Rono.
Sir, I now invite Ms. Umi Mohammed Bashir, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Culture and Heritage in the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage, to take her oath of office.
I, Mohammed Bashir, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature of contents of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to the secrecy, except as may be required for the due.
Mr. Gitonga Mugambi.
Sir, I now invite Dr. Paul Kiprono Rono, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Water and Sanitation in the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, to take his oath of office.
I, Paul Kiprono Rono, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, to swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or document for Secretary. So help me God.
Mr. Alex Kamau Washira.
Sir, I now invite Mr. Gitonga Mugambi, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation in the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, to take his oath of office.
I, Gitonga Mugambi Mukeda, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature of contact of any. So help me God.
Mr. Mohammed Liban.
Your Excellency, I now invite Mr. Alex Kamau Washira, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Energy in the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, to take his oath of office.
I, Alex Kamau Washira, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or content.
Okay. Sir, I now invite Mr. Mohammed Liban, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Petroleum, to take his oath of office.
I, Mohammed Liban, being called on to exercise the function of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or content of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due diligence of my duties.
Sir, I now invite Mr. Geoffrey Yanai Kaituko, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Labor and Skills Development in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, to take his oath of office.
I, Geoffrey Yanai Kaituko, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as such Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Your Excellency, sir, I now invite Mr. Joseph Mogosi Motari, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs in the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, to take his oath of office.
I, Motari Joseph Mogosi, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of the business, of any business, proceedings or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge.
Mr. Idris Salim Dokota.
Your Excellency, I now invite Mr. Abdi Dubat Fido, the Principal Secretary, State Department for East African Community Affairs, to take his oath of office.
I, Abdi Dubat Fido, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business,
Mr. Elijah Gatumbi Mwangi.
Your Excellency, sir, I now invite Mr. Idris Salim Dokota, the Principal Secretary, State Department for the Assault and Regional Development, to take his oath of office.
I, Idris Salim Dokota, being or contents of any business, proceedings, or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required
for the due discharge of my duties as Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Ms. Betsy Muthoni Njagi.
Your Excellency, I now invite Mr. Elijah Kitumbu Mwangiwe, the Principal Secretary of State Department for Mining in the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, to take his oath of office.
I reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings or document of the Cabinet committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as such Principal Secretary. So help me God.
Mr. Shadrach Modime.
I now invite Ms. Betsy Muthoni Njagi, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Blue Economy and Fisheries in the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, to take her oath of office.
I, Betsy Muthoni Njagi, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that, except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings,
Your Excellency, sir, last but not least, with your kind indulgence and permission, I now invite Mr. Shadrach Mwadime, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Shipping and Maritime Affairs in the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs, to take his oath of office.
I, Shadrach Mwangolo Mwadime, being called on to exercise the functions of Principal Secretary, do swear that except with the authority of the President, I will not directly or indirectly reveal the nature or contents of any business, proceedings, or secretary. So help me God.
Your Excellency, with your Principal Secretaries having assumed office, it is now my humble duty and profound privilege to invite Your Excellency to convey your congratulations to the Principal Secretaries as they embarked on their historic mission in their service to this great republic. And thereafter, with Your Excellency's most kind and gracious indulgence, to grant your Principal Secretaries a photo opportunity. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you very much. Please, let's take our seats. Let me first and foremost congratulate the men and women, the entire administration. Congratulations to you. Congratulations for the opportunity the Republic of Kenya has given you to serve in the high office of Principal Secretary. You have submitted yourselves by oath and in public to serve the Republic of Kenya and to work diligently so that we can deliver to the people of Kenya the program, the plan, and the agenda for which this administration was elected. At the onset, I want to promise you my support, my prayers, so that you can discharge your responsibilities. And it is my belief that you will do so to the best of your ability, knowing that as you serve humanity, you serve God. It is now my expectation, with the constitution of the full government, with cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries in place, that the job of the government of Kenya, ability given to us collectively by the people of Kenya in the transformation of our great nation. As you're all aware, the people of Kenya have very high expectations of this administration because the people of Kenya demonstrated faith beyond measure in electing this administration against many odds. Let me ask each and every one of us, as I told the cabinet secretaries during their swearing in that the jobs and the responsibilities and the positions that you have been given are not private positions, they are not family positions, they are not community positions, they are positions to serve the entirety of the people of the Republic of Kenya. I will expect every principal secretary to work diligently and to work to the best of their ability to serve the 53 million people of the Republic of Kenya. As you are aware, the single critical asset we have as a country is not oil or gold, that we will marshal all the resources of government to sharpen the human capital of our republic so that we can use it to drive our development, to drive our investment, to drive our agriculture, and to make sure that no Kenyan is left behind. As you work in the various departments that you will be working, you should understand that you are not only responsible for your department, you are not only responsible for your state department, but you serve under the collective responsibility of the entire government of the Republic of Kenya. You have as much duty, you have as much responsibility over your department as you do over the entire government of Kenya. You must carry out your responsibilities with that understanding, and all of us must work in a manner that creates synergy, in a manner that creates opportunity for us to build on the strengths of each and every one of us, so that we can deliver on the commitment that we collectively were given by the people of Kenya. I want to promise you that as the team leader, I will work with each and every one of you so that we can together commit to ensure that there is synergy and there is seamless transition of all our children under the new CBC education curriculum. Yesterday, I was given the preliminary report by the Presidential Working Party on Education Reform, and it was revealed by the views of majority of the stakeholders, more than 20,000 of them. 86% decided or proposed that our children in grade 6 should move to grade 7, but junior secondary should be domiciled together with our primary schools. And it is for the reason that many parents need to keep an eye on the young children going to grade 7, 8, and 9. It is also informed by affordable or affordability of education. So I will be working with members of parliament so that the additional facility is also instructive to note that 60% of all the stakeholders that were engaged agreed that CBC is the right education curriculum, but it requires some review. And that is the journey we are going to move together as a country. I know in the same report there was suggestions from a majority of the stakeholders again that the burden of cost on the delivery on CBC, especially on parents, should be reduced. And I think the committee will finally give us its report. And also, in that report, many parents suggested that they should do less for the education of their children, and that the children are taking a lot of their time in the evenings. But I want to suggest respectfully that as parents, me included, I know I have pressure from my own daughter every evening asking me to assist in this or that assignment, and I want to ask all parents that as parents, we must know that the education of our children is not the entire responsibility of teachers, it is ours as well. I want to ask all parents, starting with myself, that we make progress of your child in school to assist with the homework and to work with them so that you can understand and you can monitor the progress of your child is not too much to ask of us by our children. I want to encourage all parents across the Republic of Kenya. I know in the past, parents had very little to do with the education of their children. CBC has recruited parents to the middle of the education of their children, and I think it is a progressive development for us to be engaged in the education of our children. Najua wazazi wengi hapa hawawezi kupiga makofi kwa sababu wanalalamika ya kwamba ati CBC imewafanya wakakuwa waalimu huko jioni na wanaangaishwa na watoto wao, lakini mimi nataka niwaulize wazazi wote, hawa watoto ni watoto wetu na ni jukumu letu pia kufuatilia vile wanavyosoma shuleni, kuwasaidia na homework, kuwasaidia na ile kazi wamepewa kule shuleni. Lakini kama serikali tumepatiwa mapendekezo ya kwamba kwa kiasi tuweze kupunguza gharama hasa kwa wazazi ya mambo yanayonunuliwa ama items ambazo zinanunuliwa wazazi wengi hawawezi kuzinunua. Hiyo tutaangalia, lakini kila mzazi achukue muda jioni kuangalia progress ya mtoto wake shuleni. Tusichukue watoto wetu tukawaachia walimu, and I don't think it is right of learning. To assist in the whole of that process, we're going to work with members of parliament, as I have said, to deliver on the infrastructure required to ensure that our education is purposeful and it is ready for the 21st century. In that exercise, we have also authorized as government the Teacher Service Commission to hire the largest ever cohort of teachers. 30,000 teachers will be hired by January so that they can help us deliver on the most important component of preparing citizens of this country, that is education. And we will make the necessary resources available. And we have asked TSC to give priority to the teachers that are CBC compliant when they are hiring the teachers, the 30,000 teachers by January this year. I look forward to all the other interventions. I look forward to expediting our universal health coverage plan, the PS, the CS, and all the other stakeholders are going to work with me to ensure that we deliver on that plan. Again, we did make a commitment on matters to do with value addition and agro-processing, and we are beginning the journey on making sure that our special economic zones here in Dongo Kundu, that was supposed to be delivered by 2027, to be brought forward to 2024. And I have also instructed that the Naivasha Industrial City be fast-tracked, and all the stakeholders have been mobilized because we need to create platforms that will give us the opportunity on agro-processing, value addition, manufacturing, from cotton to leather and all the other products in between, and to mobilize the entire agricultural sector so that we can get the raw materials for our value addition and agro-processing program. To that end, by December, by this month, end of this month, the first consignment of fertilizer that will be used by our farmers next year will be arriving in the country. We have made necessary interventions. I am looking forward to working with the minister, the PS, and the bureaucracy in the Ministry of Agriculture. We have a program to import 300,000 metric tons of assorted fertilizer so that we can assist our farmers produce, and we can deal decisively with the challenge of cost of food by ensuring that we enhance our productivity and we expand our production so that we can drive hunger out of our country. Again, the Ministry of Agriculture, I want them to know that we are going to deliver subsidy on a digital platform. We're going to do it differently. All subsidies will be delivered. Technology is made ready for the delivery of our fertilizer program so that we can eliminate brokers and middlemen who occasionally give us challenges when we are delivering on subsidy on the programs that we have. We have also sorted out the challenges that have impeded the digitization of government services. We have sorted out the challenges we had with e-citizen, and I'm happy to report that by the end of next year, all 5,000 government services will be available on a digital platform. It is part of the program that we will be driving to ensure that we not only are efficient and effective, but we also are in a position to collect all the taxes due to government. I have given instructions to the Ministry of Finance and KRA that by the end of next year, the target of 3 trillion Kenya shillings must be achieved from our revenues. I know it is doable, I know it is possible, and all of us must walk the talk. And I have said that in matters paying taxes, I will lead the way. No company, no individual, no section of our society will be exempt from paying tax. Tax is the only instrument that confirms our patriotism and confirms our independence as a nation. Finally, I want also to congratulate all the people who worked so that we can accomplish this function today. I want to thank members of parliament who are here for playing their part as people's representatives. I want to congratulate all the sectors that have participated in making sure that we get here. Even those who went to court, they were also doing their part of building a nation that is accountable so that we can all move together. Yes, 2 days ago, I did launch one of our signature programs, the Financial Inclusion Fund, called the Hustler Fund, and I am happy that by 7 a.m. today, we already had 3.5 million people on that platform, and 700 million Kenya shillings had been made available, had been borrowed on that platform. And I am also happy that we are seeing the trend of repayment, even as Kenyans borrow on that platform. I want to say that this is phenomenal, and we are starting the journey as a country to a single-digit credit regime that will ensure that citizens have access to affordable credit so that we can use it to drive the economy of our country and the progress of our nation. My very best wishes as you discharge your responsibilities in the various state departments that you have been assigned. Asanteni sana, and may the good Lord bless you.
Your Excellency, sir, with your permission, we'll have the Kenya Police Service Band give us the national anthem as we come to the tail end of this ceremony. We may be seated. I'll invite His Excellency the Deputy President, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, kindly to proceed to the dais on that side, the newly appointed Principal Secretaries and His Excellency the President for a photo opportunity. The dais on that side, kindly. Let's also have the Head of Public Service, Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, and the Secretary to Cabinet join them for the photo opportunity. The rest of